Hello everyone, Hippo here. This is the updated Hippo Shaders Atmospherics install guide for G.A.M.M.A. Some things to keep in mind. At some point in the future, this video will be outdated because Hippo Shaders Atmospherics will be included in G.A.M.M.A by default, which is pretty great. Some things have changed, such as some files like Jacuz and Delphix have been included in Atmospherics by baked in essentially, so you won't need to install them separately or update them at all. They'll just be in Atmospherics from now on. Now we can get to getting all the links for the mods and downloading them. And all the links will be in the description in the YouTube YouTube video. So first, you're gonna need screen space shaders 14.2 at the time of this video. You're gonna click download, and it'll download. You're gonna need Hippo Shaders Atmospherics next, which if you go to the mod DB posting, you can just click read more. Don't click download now, and it'll be click here for Atmospherics for G.A.M.M.A, which will take you to the Google Drive, which you can just right click the Hippo Shaders file, download. Alternatively, you can also go to the mod posting in G.A.M.M.A for Hippo Shaders Atmospherics, click the pins. It'll be this link that I'm mousing over right now. Click that, it'll take you to Google Drive, same as before, and you'll just download. Now, optionally, if you want really good grass textures, you can find Aiden's grass tweaks in ModDB, which will be in the description below. Click download now, and it'll download. You can also do, now, actually, you don't need to do this. You need this. You need modded EXES for Stalker. So you can get this from here, GitHub, or optionally it does come included with screen space shaders, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to do it from here because I do use some of the mods that there's some patches for this. So in GitHub, for this, click code, download a zip, and that'll download. Now, optionally, if you're using Reshade, I can show you how to update it to 5.6, which ideally it's 5.5.2 or newer. So by the time of this video, it's 5.6. You go to the Reshade website, click download, take you to the bottom, click download Reshade 5.6. You can also, if you want, do the full add-on support. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to do this. You download, and I've already done so. For all these links, I've already done so. That's why I'm not downloading. You download and you're good to go. And yep, that's all the links that you'll need. And now we can get to the next part of this video, which is going to your Anomaly directory for G.A.M.M.A, which for me is right here. You need to go to the bin folder. And actually, no, you're just going to stay in the Anomaly directory. Let's do the EXES first. Open your EXES file. For that, you just downloaded. You go here. There's going to be another zip. You go inside. Just copy this. And then you paste in here. It'll ask you to overwrite. You'll click yes. It'll overwrite. That part's done. EXES are done. We can move this to the side. Now, you need to update your Reshade. If you're not using Reshade, you can skip this step. But if you are, you just open this. You'll click Browse, click DirectX 11, any option really, but for DirectX11.exe or AVX, doesn't really matter between these two options. So you do that. Click Next, DirectX 10, 11, 12, Next. We're modifying, so you click Modify, Next. You can skip, and we're going to click Uncheck All, Next. And now we're going to go inside the bin folder. There's a Reshade Shaders folder now that's fresh. Delete this. You don't need this anymore. Now, optionally, this is an optional step. If you want to disable Reshade, if you need the FPS, you'll want to disable Reshade. If you're really struggling for FPS, you'll disable Reshade. Don't do this if you want Reshade, because I get many complaints or people saying they can't get Reshade to run. It's because you've done this optional step when you don't want it. In the bin folder of your Anomaly directory for G.A.M.M.A, dxgi.dll, you'll simply delete it or you'll rename it. Simple as that. And when you do that, it will basically not allow Reshade to run on start. Simple. I'm running Reshade, so I'll keep this. You can exit out of this. You're done. Now open your mod organizer 2 for G.A.M.M.A. you're gonna need to disable some things, some mods. You're gonna disable Grulog. It'll be Grulog's Dead Bushes, which will be 272 for me at the time of this video. It'll be enabled, disable it. Skies Redux. It'll be enabled, disabled. So you type skies in the filter. Autumn. There's two of them. Autumn's no leaves LB fix. Simple autumn retexture no leaves. They'll be enabled. You disable them like that. You type guard. It'll take you to Gardener of the Zone. It'll be enabled. Disable it. You can optionally keep this on, but it is very performance intensive, and it's in its current iteration. It's not that great because it does use 4K texture. It's kind of performance heavy. I'm replacing it with Aiden's Grass. You'll type now in the filter road. It'll be under Gamma HUD category. It'll be enabled. Road side lens flare. Disable this. Now you need to type screen. If you go to the shaders, it'll be 190-screen space shaders-ASIC 1457. At the time of this video, it's update 12.6. It'll be enabled. You disable it. Done. Now, two more things to go. You'll type weather in the filter. It'll be gamma weather. It'll be enabled. Disable it. Now, last thing, you'll type Jakku, and it'll be Jakku's improved shaders version 1.2. It'll be enabled. Simply disable it. All the stuff that needs to be disabled is disabled now. Now we can get to installing. So in the top left corner, there's this icon right here. You'll click it. You need to now navigate to the mods that you need to install, which, since we've already finished the Reshade part and the Stalker modded EXES part, we'll put those aside. We just need to worry about these files. Let's start simple, or actually complicated for some people. Screen space shaders underscore update 14.2. It's on my desktop. You just gotta define where it is for you, and we'll open this. It'll be a Bay installer. Click yes. We're gonna select every option except for one for myself, and I'll explain why. These are the options you need to select. You can pause if you wanna like follow along in the video. The one thing I don't select is SSR water ice version, simply because I'm not running a snow texture pack like Project Inverno, Frozen Zone, so I don't really need to run this. But if you are running those texture packs, you'll select it, but I'm not. And I've already installed Screen Space Shaders Update, so I'm not going to click OK, but you will click OK, and it will install. And when it installs, it's going to be all the way at the bottom of your disabled. And it's going to be close to the bottom. You won't put it at the bottom after you install Hippo shaders and Aiden's. And it'll be disabled. You just enable it like that. Now you'll install the other two. So Screen Space Shaders is done. Now let's do Aiden's Grass. This is optional, by the way, as I mentioned before. You'll click it. It'll be a nice FOMOD installer. You'll click next. You'll do Autumn Grass, or also you can do the trees. You can also alternatively mix and match. You can do like Autumn Grass plus, let's say, summer trees, or vanilla summer grass plus autumn trees, the taiga forest trees. But I wouldn't like do vanilla summer grass plus autumn grass. That won't make sense. Just choose one type of grass, one type of trees. I'm just going to do autumn grass, and you'll click install. I've already done this, so I don't need to. So I'm just going to click cancel. And when you install it, it'll be all the way at the bottom. And you'll enable it, and like that, and you'll put it right below Screen Space Shaders Update. Essentially, the priority is 438 for Screen Space Shaders. For Aiden's, it's 439, so it's like winning. This actually doesn't matter because they don't really overwrite each other, but this is just how I like to keep it. The main priority that you need to keep in mind is Hippo shaders in relation to Screen Space Shaders Update. But Screen Space Shaders Update, again, needs to be very close to the bottom. Now, the last things we need to do is install the main mod of this video, which is Hippo Shaders Atmospherics. You'll click that icon, install. You'll find Hippo Shaders Atmospherics. At the time of this video, it's 1.33. By the time of any other video, probably 1.6, whatever. I update so often. It's kind of funny. Click open. you'll be greeted with this, some instructions, which you don't need to because you're following this video. So you definitely require sky textures. If you're using the reshade, optionally, if you're using reshade, and if you're using reshade, don't forget this. You'll click 03. If you don't click this option, none of the reshade presets will show up for you. You need this if you're using reshade, which I am using. And then you need to choose one of the atmospherics options. So if you're using a snow texture pack, you'll use snowy atmospherics like Project Inverno or Frozen Zone. If you're not, which I'm not, I'll just choose regular atmospherics. And you'll click OK, and it'll install. I've already done so I don't need to. And Hippo's atmospherics will be all the way at the bottom right here. You just click enable it, and you'll move it to the bottom. Honestly, you can keep it down below because it doesn't matter, like this, because it's winning over everything. But I just like to keep things organized, and I like to put it at the bottom of my enable mods. Simple as that. This is all done. You don't need to do anything else. Now we can launch the game. So now we'll launch the game and we'll wait. And while we're waiting, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support for atmospherics for both EFP and G.A.M.A. I really do appreciate it. It does make me happy, especially now that I have like a nice community surrounding atmospherics and a lot of people that found and help each other out to make Stalker G.A.M.A. or EFP the best that it can be. Thank you guys. Okay, now we're in the game. So I guess we'll start with the console commands. You only need to run these console commands on every time you update atmospherics, or every time you update, I guess, G.A.M.A. possibly. But it's really anytime you update atmospherics for the most part, or first time installing atmospherics. You'll press the tilde key, which is right under escape. You'll type CFG, and you'll do underscore load, and then you'll do a space. And if you're using a snow texture pack, which I am not, it'll be Hippo Snow, which has a reshade associated with it. Alternatively, if you're using a snow texture pack with no reshade, you'll do Sean. But for me, I'm not using any snow texture pack. So if I'm not using reshade with a non-snow texture pack, a regular texture pack, or just vanilla G.A.M.A, you'll do Hippo S, which stands for Hippo Shaders. And if you want the reshade, the reshade for G.A.M.A, for Hippo Atmospherics, you'll do Hippo SR, which is what I'm using. And you'll click enter, and you'll be greeted with this successfully loaded. If this is not occurring, that means you've skipped a step of this video, and you should scroll back. That's done. Let's go to mod configuration menu, your MCM. You'll find your dynamic tone map. You'll click default, which will change a bunch of settings for you, but I've already done so, so I'm not needing to, but for you, it'll change like 17, 18, 19 settings or something. Click default, and then you click apply. Alternatively, when you install Screenplay shaders, it will come with some heavy depth of field for your weapons. You click on weapons depth of field after you find in your SSS settings. Scroll down. The main three options you'll need to do are blur intensity, out of focus fade length, out of focus fade start. It'll be 0.14, 0.25, 0.7, and 0.2. I also have this week. I forgot about that. You can pause the video and match it, up to you, and then you'll click apply after you change them. Now we can go to your settings. We'll go to advanced, scroll down. I'm going to talk about the relevant settings. Map, you don't want to put it too high because things can get really overly sharp. I just like to keep things in the middle. Anisotropic filtering, you do 8 or higher. I typically do 16 just because it does give a really nice effect as far as not making the ground and textures super blurry. It's common in any video game. If you're using reshade, only if you're using reshade, you want to have anti-aliasing off because it's an MSAA type anti-aliasing, which will mess with the depth buffer of reshade. But if you're not using reshade, you can just put this at 2x. And you can do 4x, but again, it's MSAA, which is very expensive. I'm keeping it off because I'm using reshade. SMAA, I typically like to do low. There's not much difference between low and very high, but you can also do high, up to you. And it's kind of SMAA is subtle, especially in motion and with normal gameplay. You can keep this off, up to you. We'll scroll down to more relevant ones. If you're using Aiden's Grass, you can see very far. So you can, honestly, you don't need to do 150. You can do like 110, 130. I just do 150. You can do even lower. Grass density, this is what I typically run at. You can do lower, it's up to you. I typically like a nice dense grass. My size I do is a 0.9. Some people do lower. Regardless, we scroll down. Yep. Specular doesn't matter. You keep this the way it is. You're supposed to, because when you load a CFG underscore Hippo SR, any of the other LTX files from the cons commands, the gloss is already set. Don't touch the gloss. Sun shadow, whatever. Sun shadow quality, up to you if you have the performance. Sun rays mode. I've seen people say that they like volumetric. Others like screen space. Others like both. Both and volumetric are very similar. Just some FPS difference. Extremely similar, actually. It's just up to you. Don't turn it off, though. Do one of the three. Sun rays quality for volumetric. This is related for both volumetric. I had to put it high. And then SSAO mode, you have to have it at SSDO because this is tied to the ambient occlusion of screen space shaders mod. Otherwise, it will not work. Put it at SSDO. And SSAO quality, I run it high, but you can do lower medium. The rest is not relevant. And with that out of the way, if you're not using Reshade, you're good to go. You can pause the video, exit out of the video, and you're good. You're set. You can load in your game, and your game is going to look good. And if you're not using Reshade, remember it's CFG underscore load Hippo S. If you're using Reshade, it's Hippo SR. Now that we're using Reshade, we press Home. By default, Hippo SR is going to look like this. But you're not going to probably see any effects to begin with. You're going to go to settings. It's going to look like this. It's going to be your effects search path is going to look like this. Your text search path is going to look like this after you update your Reshade or install Reshade for the first time. So what you'll do right here is you'll do a slash and you do shift 8 and then 8 again, which will be 2 asterisks. And you'll do that exactly like this. Click home, click reload. While we're here, we're going to set the depth buffer correctly. For Stalker Anomaly, you edit global preposter definitions. You have all these options, and then by default it'll be set to, for reverse, set to 1. You're going to set this to 0. Optionally also, if you don't have any of this in here, if this is completely empty, you can pause the video and click the plus signs and type the relevant text in here in the boxes and then a relevant value right here. And once you set all that done, you'll click outside and it'll reload. Also, you see how it says performance mode? Don't select this. A lot of the Reshade presets use Regrade and Solaris, which do not work well with performance at the moment. Performance mode at the moment. Don't select this. For most of you, you probably won't have the right directory set for Reshade. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to navigate to your G.A.M.M.A directory, not your Anomaly directory that's tied to G.A.M.M.A, your G.A.M.M.A directory. So it's basically like where you go to update G.A.M.M.A. So Grox, you'll see Grox, modpack installer, crash dumps, DLLs, downloads, explorer, mods, whatever. It's basically your G.A.M.M.A directory. You need to go to the mods folder. You need to scroll down. It's alphabetical, so you're going to scroll down past a bunch of numbers before you hit like letters to begin with. And alphabetical would be Hippo, shaders atmospherics, or Hippo, whatever you have it named to. Go inside. You'll only see the bin folder if you selected the optional Reshade option within the atmospherics bay installer. You go inside bin, and I'm going to select Hippo SR, select, and it will look like this by default. I typically like to run like this with also some TFAA with these 3 effects and some Filgram. That's Hippo SR for me. Now we can load into the game for a demonstration. All right, everything's, we're about to load in. Let's get in. All right, this is how it's gonna look with Hippo SR. Let's change the weather. Right now it's set to foggy, or I guess cloudy to dark. We'll do clear 1. Just for demonstration. This is what it looks like. Invisible, so nobody bothers me. So when you open your Reshade menu, you'll have a couple different Reshade presets. This is what Hippo Star looks like, as I've shown. This is Hippo Film. This is how Hippo Film looks. You'll also get Hippo Film 2, which is going to be darker, a little more atmospheric, I suppose, which also can run TFAA as well, like this. And you can also do Hippo SR, which I've shown as before, like that. And Frozak's Badland preset, which people really like, and I like as well. It's nicely atmospheric and dark, like this. But I find it to be slightly blurry for me. So I run it with sharp contrast and the TFAA, G.A.M.M.A, and CMA. By default, it's going to look like this. I like to run it like this. And then you have Frozak's Poison Republic. It's another preset, which by default, again, will look like this. I typically like to run it like so. But I typically am tweaking weathers and the shaders, so I typically just run SR, which is what works for me. But yeah, that's basically Hippo Shaders Atmospherics. We can fly around now, just kind of show how it all looks. I think it looks pretty great. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a good one, okay? Bye-bye.